evening and namaste, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, this feels good. Just to be standing here on stage, seeing my audience live. I can look into their eyes. I'm sorry, I meant to introduce the awards right now, but this is such a great feeling. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second edition of JK Paper Presents Auterawards in association with the Times of India for Women Authors. I'm Pooja Yadav Kef, truly the lucky lady who has been invited to host tonight's wonderful event. Now, before I get into why we're here, if you don't mind, I'd just like to pause and focus on the fact that we are here. That we are here. Look to your left, look to your right. You can see smiling faces, twinkling eyes, the energy, the collective energy of just being together. I can just feel it in the air. How do you feel? Does it feel good? Yes? Not good enough, apparently. Do you feel good? We feel alive. You know, last year, the new normal was everything virtual. And I really pray and I hope that this year, the new normal is going back to the old normal. Because I think we didn't realize how great we had it. The old normal is great. So a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for all of us gathered here for my first live event after a year. And I think this partnership between JK Paper and Times of India, their last live event was the first edition of these awards a year ago, March 8th, 2020. And here we are exactly 1 year and say 1 week later, doing and creating magic again. Okay, so now let's get to why we're here. You know, within each writer, there lies this immense potential to shape our thoughts, to mold the way we think. I think using their words, they can really get into our heads. And I mean that in a good way. They can take us to places of fantasy, maybe thrillers, suspense, drama, or really just lay down the facts as they are. Each word that a writer puts on paper carries with it so much weight. Each word brings forward passion, creativity, and the spirit of that person, ladies and gentlemen. And I think each word has the power to move the world. And ladies and gentlemen, Indian women authors have truly added a whole new dimension to Indian literature. So woo! More power to all of you, to all of us. Hoping I'll write someday. So this platform, ladies and gentlemen, is really just that. It's there to encourage women authors to express their fondness for writing, to put forth their creativity. It's a celebration of the art of storytelling from the woman's perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, through this initiative, we wish to acknowledge exemplary pieces of writing by women authors so that it inspires more women to take up writing, to pen their first story, and of course, feel proud of their accomplishments. To be honest, when women soar, there's nothing like it. But what it also does is, when you see a woman soaring, a person soaring, it makes you look up. It makes you look up and think, why not I? And that is the power, really. You know, they say, empowered women empower women. Think about that. Empowered women empower women. And this is really what this platform is all about. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I can go on speaking, but sometimes we have people who say it better than, well, of course I do. I could request the console to play this magical number, and it would be great if all of you, if you want to sit, you want to stand, just get up and maybe clap your hands, do anything you want, but this is a song just putting across the spirit of women. So, DJ, can we have that song?
She's just a girl and she's on fire.
That's all of you.
Hotter than a fantasy, lonely like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire, filled with catastrophe.
Okay, listen to the words. Keep that applause coming. Feel it in your heart. I will sing. like a girl, but she's a flame. Never has a line been more true. I'd also like to add, ladies and gentlemen, that despite the circumstances, we have seen an overwhelming response. More than 1,000 entries across 5 award categories. And I can't imagine the numbers that are to follow next year and the year after. Okay, so now it is truly my pleasure to invite to the stage Sudha Natarajan, Director, The Times of India Group, on stage to deliver her welcome address. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello. Audible? Hello, everyone. Yes, I can't belabor the point. It is such a delight to derive collective energy from all of us being here together physically. Persistence, patience, discipline. I mean, these are 3 extremely fundamental qualities which I think all of us talk to our children about, because I see, net average age of being somewhere a little below me, not as old as my gray hair seem to depict. But, we have this impression of writers having this Jolna bag and, in tatters, jeans with a cigarette, lying around and writing whenever he or she pleases. But that's really not so. And these are these fundamental qualities that I think all of us need to imbibe, because writers, apart from the magic that they pour into their writing and in all their words, it is really the character of a writer that we need to get inspired by. And everyone asks me, do you sing? I say, no, they have to be listeners. I'm a great listener. Do you write? No, they have to be readers. I'm a great reader. So I derive inspiration from all of you. I always say that a writer, you read a book, you get a free shrink. You don't need to pay tons of money and go, to speak to somebody, because that book is speaking back to you. And today, that same book has evolved into various forms. It doesn't need to be the written word on a piece of paper, which is what I like, because I'm quite retro. But it's the printed word on a Kindle. It is the word that appears in an audiovisual medium. I'm from advertising. So from the days of the long copy. And then people say, long copy is gone, let's make it brief. But the charm of the long copy is what we write. Because the charm of the long copy is what puts soul into our writing. And I am so delighted to be here in front of all of you, to welcome you here today in our presence for the 2nd edition of the Auther I love the branding, Author, as well as the visual depiction of it. It was done by our creative team. Thank you so much, JK. This is an initiative by JK Industries, which we were only too delighted to partner with. I must welcome Sonam Wangchuk. I don't even need to say much about him, because he's such a celebrity in his own way. And he's had the biggest marketable medium in the country to talk about what he stands for. And every person in the country, right from a 2-year-old child to a 9-year-old, looks up to him saying, I want him one day to read more during the process of judging, so they did not mind reading several, they could come to the conclusion of one. So thank you everyone for being here today. We are delighted to welcome you here, and may it begin. Thank you.
Promises to be a perfect evening. Gentlemen, I would now like to invite Vinitha Daura Nangia, Executive Editor, columnist and writer with the Times of India Festival Director, Times Litfest and Write India, and the curator of these awards, to please join us on stage for the inaugural address. Welcome, ma'am.
Good evening, and a very warm welcome to all of you. It's a very touching moment for me, because Last year, it's exactly 1 year, and that was the last event that I stepped out for. It was the JK paper, Times of India Women Author Award as well. There are many new faces. A big warm welcome to you all, and thank you so much for joining us today, for braving the pandemic and coming across here. Mr. Sonam Wangchuk, innovator and education reformist, and our chief guest for the evening. Mr. Harshpati Singhania, Vice Chairman and Managing Director, JK Papers. Sudha Natarajan, Director, BCCL. Ashok Binra, Director, BCCL. Our eminent jury for Author Awards, respected publishers, authors, and so many friends in the audience here today. Sometimes you need to take a small step which you hope will become a big leap, which will right a wrong that is centuries old. Last year, JK Paper and Times of India got together for exactly taking such a step, which we hope will right the wrong of centuries. We launched Women Author Awards. These are the awards that recognize women writing. And women have been writing amazing, trailblazing books for years and years, for centuries. But somehow or the other, they have not really found their place in the sun all the time. They have not got the same accolades. They have not got the same space on bookshelves in bookshops. They have not got the same reviews. And they have not got the same status as a lot of male authors have got. And living in traditionally male-dominated societies, women have always been their voices have been throttled. So here is a chance with the Women Author Awards to get those voices heard. Women were discouraged from telling their stories, because when you enable a woman to tell her story, you are empowering her. And when you empower a woman, there are people around who get threatened. So that has been going on for centuries and centuries. And now we are here hoping to change those things. Almost all our written records of history are stories told by men. They are stories told by men about men. And whenever a story was told about a woman, it was to applaud her male attributes. So when you praised George Eliot, you praised her for her manly brain. When you talk about Rani Jhansi, you call her Mardani. So that is why she's still remembered for her qualities of being Mardani. Despite centuries of some great women writers having written wonderful literature, today women's writing still continues to be a sideshow, and women are generally still ignored for most literary awards. In a recent article, Shashi Deshpande reveals that till date, only 8% of all Sahitya Academy Awards have gone to women. And the surprising thing here is that though caste domination kind of ended earlier with these awards, the gender domination still exists. It was only in 2020, last year, after 64 years of these awards, that the first woman Hindi poet got awarded, got recognized. Other awards are no different. Of the 117 individuals who have received the Nobel Literature Prize, 101 have been men and only 16 women. The scene with the Booker is slightly better. So far, 31 men and 16 women have received the Booker Prize. But there is still a deep gender disparity which emerges when you look at the characters who are written about in these books. So there was a study conducted, artificial intelligence was used to conduct this study, and it was discovered that most of the books that had been shortlisted for Booker have male characters, have male dominating characters, and there is a disparity, there is a prejudice in the way that men are described and the women are described. The man is always shown as powerful, as rich, as the protagonist of the story, and the women are described as beautiful and romantic. And those are the stories that have really done well and won the awards. So the beautiful or romantic woman, she cannot be powerful and rich and all. And then there was a study that was done by a novelist, Nicola Griffith, which also proved that novels in which the main character is female have won fewer awards than the ones where the male character dominates. And the more prestigious the award, the more the imbalance it seems. And so when she studied the books that were shortlisted, the awards that were given between 2000 and 2015, she realized that not a single book from a woman's perspective or written about a woman was considered worthy of the Pulitzer Prize in all these 15 years from 2000 to 2015. The history of if you consider the history of an earlier women's award, you will realize, you will get an idea of what women's writing is up against. So back in the year 1991, the Booker shortlist did not have a single woman author. In 1992, it had about 10% of the names were women authors and the rest were all male authors. So this group of women got together and they started a Women's Prize for Fiction to help promote and award female authors. And this was started in 1995. Mitsubishi was to be the sponsor, but they pulled out even before the first award was given. A new sponsor, Orange, took over. And for some time, this was called the Orange Prize for Fiction. Orange withdrew with their support, and they were back to being called the Women's Prize for Fiction. Then along came Bailey Irish Cream, and Baelish Irish Cream supported the award, and it became the Bailey Prize for Women's Writing. Recently, Bailey also opted out, and now it is back to being the Women's Prize for Fiction, supported by family sponsors, whoever or whatever they may be. Will women's writing get a fillip because of the JK Paper TOI Author Awards? Of course it will. It will, but it will take a long time, because it will take a long time to step away from the ideas that negate women's writing and try to bring down whatever books that are brought out by women. But prizes and awards do help, and they make a difference. The visibility of books increases as a direct result of prizes that are given out by established institutions. Sales increase, and it excites the awards given to the women authors excite publishers to accept more and more books from women authors. With this in mind, we at the Times of India are truly appreciative of the vision of Mr. Singhania and his team of men in insisting that we institute a women's only literary award. And the question never was, nor is, whether women write better than men, or vice versa. The point is that women should be read as writers, not as women writers. The point is that when a woman writes, it should not be presumed that what she's writing is any less than what a man writes, or any inferior or marginal just because of her gender. In an ideal world, there would be no need for a separate Women Author Award. But till we reach that utopia, we all need to be feminists, as Chimamanda famously said. And I have no doubt in my mind that soon one day will arrive when we will not have Women Author Awards or Men Author Awards. We'll just have awards for authors, just author awards. You've been told that we got over 1,000 entries. It was actually quite a pleasant surprise for us. Last year we had about 850 entries. This year, we thought we would have much less because of the pandemic, and we were not very confident of the fact that, a message would have reached out to people, because, a lot of people had stopped reading newspapers or picking up newspapers at some point, and then they started again, of course. But the message seems to have reached across, and people remember last year's awards and how, and they really talk about it. We got more than 1,000 entries. It was a tough task to go through them, but we were helped, of course. We had a very good panel of judges, and we shortlisted the books and gave across to the judges. There were 3 panels of judges, one for fiction, one for non-fiction, one for debut, and for children. Each panel had 3 judges with 1 chair. They went through all the books that were given to them, read them carefully, discussed them, and decided the award, and then announced the long list, and then the short list right after that. And the winners are here. Most of them are. Some of them have not been able to make it. Some of the judges also have not been able to make it, but we really understand their concerns and the reason that they were not able to come across. But the rest of them are here, and the winners who couldn't make it have all been kind enough to send across recorded messages for us, and they're all delighted. I must take the opportunity to sincerely thank Mr. Singhania for his keen interest and attention to detail for these awards all along, and our the judges for their time and the expertise, the time they spent on going through the books and then talking to each other and deciding, and our team at TOI for their unstinting efforts and planning in executing this wonderful function, and certainly our audience for today. You all deserve a round of applause for braving the pandemic and coming across here to show up in such amazing numbers and be a part of this event. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vinita Daura Nangya, the curator of these very special awards. Please, a big round of applause. Thank you so much for shedding light on truly a difficult journey for women authors, but baby step by baby step, we seem to be heading in the right direction. And ladies and gentlemen, it now truly is my privilege to welcome to the stage Mr. H.P. Singhania, Vice Chairman and Managing Director, J.K. Paper, to deliver his address. Welcome, sir.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am really delighted to be here amongst you this evening. And I think Vinita ji has set the stage extremely well in terms of the context of these awards and how we have gone through. Let me make a very honest confession that this year, for this edition, when we were planning these awards, I was very apprehensive about a physical event. And I must also say that I did push the TOI team a bit hard on saying that, look, it's not safe, we should not be doing this, and who will come, and so on and so forth. But I think the TOI team came with an even greater convincing power to say, look, things are happening and we've got to do things. And there are many people who would actually want this to be done this way. And I will tell you, I am glad we are doing it this way. I'll honestly admit, I'm glad we are doing it this way. We all have to be safe. We have to wear our masks. We may have got our vaccines, but we still have to be safe. But I think for, for humankind, we have to emerge out of our dens. And thank you very much for making this happen, all of you. You know, when we started this award last year, and since then so much has changed. So much has changed in each one of our lives. It was a forced change, something that none of us could have imagined, but things have changed. Now, without delving much into this, one of the benefits or the highlights, I think, of this forced lockdown was that a lot of people and a lot of us got back to reading. At least I can say that for myself. I like to read, but sadly the same old refrain, I don't have the time to, I'd love to do this, but I don't have the time. And the lockdown provided an opportunity for some of us to get back and to physical books that we could hold, read, smell, touch. And I think that was interesting from the context that this brings back the romance, the pleasure of reading once again. You know, I would like to quote J.K. Rowling here when she said, "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if only one remembers to turn on the light," unquote. So we all have to think of that light within ourselves, how we respond to situations as human beings, and how we keep our spirits up to survive, and not only survive, but revive ourselves and then thrive amongst all of what has happened. So I am very pleased that we are having this event. And when we were thinking about conceiving this award initially, the thought came that we have literary awards. We have now a great enthusiasm amongst people for lit fests, and the TOI has been associated with some of them. So it somehow we got along with this thought, and the TOI team came in here and said that, look, we also want to institute something, and we said, why don't we do this as a women's award? And Vinita ji is very ably explained how all this came to happen. But we are very pleased from JK Paper. I mean, the natural affinity for a paper company would be to look at something which is the printed word. Even though a lot of the print is now happening on Kindles and iPads, but still there is the printed word. I am glad to say there is an industry that still works, printing books, and people still like reaching out and touching those. So that's how this came about, and I am really happy that we have this unique award crafted, if I may say, or curated for women. And we would like to continue this journey. And I hope it gets greater recognition, but even more importantly, it encourages many more women to not just write, but to express themselves, express their inner feelings, and bring it in front of the world. And most importantly, to have people read and recognize that women authors are no different from their other gender, and therefore a good book is a good book irrespective of who has written. So really, we are very delighted we have this, and I am also happy that we have a nice name, the Autherawards, which brings out the her in the author. And so it is really a good thing. I'm also delighted that I have here amongst various people, Ms. Vinita Nangia, of course, has done this with the entire TOI team, who has made this happen. Sudhaji, Sudha Natarajan, thank you very much for being a part of this. All the jury members, the winners, all of you deserve congratulations. And it's not an easy task to do this. And the TOI team and the JK Paper team who has put this together. But I am particularly delighted that we have here also Mr. Raj Jain, who kicked it off last time as the head of BCCL at that time. And I have many other friends here. And of course, my wife, Mamta, who's been sort of egging me on that you people should be doing something. I mean, we came to an agreement that, you know, the women author was not her exclusive idea. It was both her ideas. But here we are, and she's an avid reader, and I'm delighted to be here. Mr. Sonam Wangchuk, thank you for being here. You have been an inspiration to a lot of people, particularly to the younger people, and we are delighted that we have you here today as the chief guest to give away these awards and inspire many, many more people. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Singhania. I'd request you to please remain back on stage. Thank you so much, sir, for that very warm and inspiring address. Ladies and gentlemen, I now also like to invite to the stage Mr. Ashok Bindra, Director, Times Group. Welcome, sir. We would like to take this opportunity to felicitate our chief guest for this evening. Welcome, sir. His name has been mentioned quite a few times, and probably run out of words to describe him and everything that he's done. So I'll stick to 3 words: engineer, innovator, and of course, an education reformist. Mr. Sonam Wangchuk. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause. He is a mechanical engineer by education, but he's worked in the field of education for more than 27 years. I'm sure all of you know this, but it was him who inspired the iconic character of Funsuk Wangru. I hope I can get that pronunciation right. From the iconic movie, the Bollywood runaway hit 3 Idiots. So Mr. Singhania, Mr. Bindra, I'd request you to please felicitate our chief guest for this evening, Mr. Sonam Wangchuk. Please, a big round of applause. To say he's been instrumental in changing the face of education in the mountains is an understatement. And now, of course, right after this, we look forward to hearing from Mr. Wangchuk himself. So thank you, Mr. Sanghania, thank you, Mr. Bindra. And sir, it's over to you.
Thank you, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you warm greetings from a cold, icy Ladakh. The greetings at least can be warm, and thank you for having me in this very special event. I'm really touched at the concept and the execution. Wonderful that and interesting that a paper company, JK Papers, is encouraging writers, and what is special and out of box is that it's encouraging women authors. And another thing that is perhaps out of box is you have decided to get a tribal from Ladakh as your guest. So thank you, and Times of India for promoting this and giving this forum. Let me share some of my tribal ideas from Ladakh. As far as how we treat women in our society, my tribal mind says that we are not only backwardly old school, we are actually prehistoric in our outlook. It was in the times when we were hunter-gatherers in the jungles, forests, when manhood and manliness was a desirable quality. But we are supposed to have civilized. We are supposed to have evolved. Where is the need of that brute force that was important back then, when it was a violent world where things was decided by the mighty breaking the skull of the weaker one? That was a might is right kind of era, when perhaps manliness and manhood was an important thing to have, and the man in the family perhaps was important. But we actually evolved and went far ahead in everything. But this vestigial, part of our minds has still continued. And I think it's high time. It's high time that we changed it. It's a very strange society for my tribal mind to see. We say women's place is in the kitchen. But then when it comes to positions that matter, for example, perhaps the chef in the hotel where we are, in the kitchen, I don't think most of the times it would be a woman whose place was supposed to be in the kitchen who is leading the business that she is supposed to know. So yes, it is very backwardly and unfair world that way, and it's a pity for our civilization. It's not a pity for women in particular. Similarly, we say when we mock, women speak a lot. They have a lot to say. They have stories to tell. But when it comes to stories to tell, as we hear, it is men who dominate the Autherawards. It's a very funny world to me that we use these for places where it doesn't matter, but when it matters, it is men who dominate. And then we say women are homemakers. Wonderful, homemakers. But how many home ministers have been women in our history? I doubt. And if we remember, women are great homemakers because of their compassionate, empathetic, peaceful approach to solving problems. That's what makes them great homemakers. And if we had these qualities, even if, not women, like we talked about, manliness of women is praised sometimes when we praise women. Similarly, if we had womanly men even leading the home ministry, or women, why not? Why go through this? We would have had less of the egos that we see that keeps our problems in this country and in so many countries of the world from being solved. Kashmir issue may have been a much smaller issue if an empathetic, compassionate approach was of a motherly woman was applied. Same with the current, Kisan Andolan and all. A homemaker needs to be, engaged in such solutions that need more compassion than brute force, as in the very old past. If I had my way, I would say not only in, kitchens and sports and leadership roles and authorship, I would want to see the world run by women. It would have averted so many wars. Most of these wars that we have seen in the history, which wiped such a huge part of our population, was perhaps because of the manliness and manhood that was allowed to prevail in a so-called civilized world. These world wars, many of them, both of them, could have been averted if it was compassion of women that was into play. Because they, as I remember my mother, could and would have understood what it is to lose your children in wars more than men. So if I had my way, I would like to see if we evolve enough that our world is led by women, run by women. But then often I am told that, no, you have women that are aggressive also. Also makes a big point there. What I came to think finally was that yes, also, but that also means it is an exception. So it is an exception, not the norm, that women can be manly, and it is sad that that is often more celebrated than the womanliness of women or men. More than that, it is an exception also that men could be compassionate, more the norm that they are assertive, aggressive, competitive. So therefore, I would have felt that if this world could be managed by women, it could have been a much, much better place than what we see today. And I do agree and like the idea that platforms like this are very important today to promote and to right the wrongs, but I want to believe that you would see a day when this will have to be closed and there's equality, true equality, and not because of some reservation or some charity that we do to womanhood, but because there is true equality. Just the same way as we make reservations in our governance system, great to kickstart equality, but it can be really equal also. If you look at the world, for example, Sweden, you don't need reservations, and still they have 46% of their parliament represented by women. A country like Rwanda in Africa has actually 64%, but that has to do with wars and genocide and things, but I'll stick to the example of Sweden. That's how we need to aim to arrive. Although it's a great start to give a push and a kick start when the world is so unequal, but I want to end with the hope and prayer that there should be a day soon when we don't have to think of men and women in all things. And my prayer would be that men become womanly rather than women become manly to be equal. So that kind of equality I would like to see. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your wonderful thoughts and take away that one line, the world run by women. I love that. I think also it boils down to the virtues that we celebrate. When we celebrate, as kids, they grow up, because I'm a mother of two, and boys are told to be brave and competitive. And I think those are qualities they think they need to be. But if we celebrate the qualities of compassion, empathy, sympathy, it depends on what we celebrate as a society, then those kind of people would probably rise to leadership positions. My 2 cents. And so a lot to do with us paving the way for the future. So ladies and gentlemen, this last year has been incredible, and we have tried to capture the journey of this year's edition of the Author Awards through a small audiovisual film. So can we please have the AV?
Literature is a reflection of humanity and a way for us to understand each other. For centuries, authors have championed the art of putting pen to paper and devoted themselves to celebrate the written word. Though the society has progressed a great deal, it is felt that women have not got their due recognition in the field of writing. Brilliant writing by women need not hide behind pseudonyms. Work of marvel by women writers that appeals to both the heart and the head, that perfectly blends emotion and logic, needs to be celebrated. With the objective of creating a unique platform to celebrate the art of storytelling and recognizing women who have broken biases in the writing space, J.K. Paper and the Times of India came together to announce the Author Awards. And had very successful first edition. Just after the awards ceremony last year, the world witnessed an unprecedented challenge of the COVID-19 virus. Everybody was skeptical, but J.K. Paper and the Times of India were determined to fight all odds, and we launched the second edition. Once launched, there was no stopping us. Conversations started and increased manifolds, catching multimedia attention yet again. To everybody's surprise, Author Awards received a whopping 1,000 plus entries, which was a 25% increase with respect to last year across 4 categories. The knowledge partner, Grant Thornton Bharat, executed the first level of filtration. The screened entries were further deliberated upon by professionals of eminence, our esteemed panel of jury. The world of storytelling became a buzz. Some of the most talked about authors discussed on their journey into the world of storytelling and the shift literature has seen due to the pandemic. Some others got to interact with their readers through immersive book reading sessions. We were delighted at the insightful experiences of delving into stories and perspectives presented by the authors. Interactions with our online book-loving community increased with introduction of new engagements like popularizing lesser-known words, facts, and quotes from the women literature, new and contemporary. In our pursuit to encourage, guide, and mentor young and aspiring women authors, we recently launched master classes, which bring renowned and established authors share their learnings with budding minds. We would like to thank the authors, publishers, and our community who have showered us with their love in our endeavor to build talent and passion for writing. The results of the campaign speak for its success. Amidst celebration of stories that stir souls, of writers who dare to dream, and writing that works beyond genres, we are determined to bring about a positive change both by supporting women writers and inspiring readers in the years to come. We are pleased to welcome you all to the second season of Author Awards.
Here we are, second edition, and as you just heard, a 25% increase in the number of entries. It's really been incredible, this journey, and of course, as mentioned in Vanitha's address, as well as the AV you just saw, we have been really blessed to have with us on board an eminent jury. They've been kind enough to give us so much time and so much of their effort to go through so many entries and sift through them and come out with the best. So we extend our gratitude, and I'd really like to request everyone to please put your hands together and let's make some noise. A big round of applause for our esteemed jury members. I'd love if we could put the spotlight on them. Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to welcome Mr. Partha Biswas and Mr. Ashok Bindra to please join us on stage. Mr. Partha Biswas from JK Paper and Mr. Ashok Bindra from, of course, the Times Group. Welcome, sir. We'd love for you to felicitate our esteemed jury members. For the first category, ladies and gentlemen, we have Anand Neelakantan as jury chair, along with Tahira Kashyap and Jonathan Kennedy. They were the jury members for the category of fiction. Allow me to tell you a few lines about each. Mr. Anand Neelakantan is a best-selling author, columnist, screenwriter, television personality, and motivational speaker. In fact, you remember the blockbuster Bahubali? Well, that was based on his books. Jonathan Kennedy is the Director of Arts for the British Council in India. And of course, for Ms. Tahira Kashyap Khurana, as you might know her, she's a writer, a filmmaker, and a brilliant orator. In her own quirky style, she loves to use her voice, her social media presence, and her brand of, I think it's an inimitable way of storytelling to spread awareness about women empowerment, self-love, and a wholesome lifestyle. I really wish they were here with us. However, due to some unavoidable circumstances, neither of them could join us. In fact, Jonathan had to fly home for a personal emergency. And Tahira, you all know what's happening in Maharashtra. The cases are rising, so she could not travel and be with us here. But Anand has sent us a special message sharing his experience while evaluating some of these most amazing entries. So let's have a listen.
Hi everyone, good morning. Anand Neelakantan here. I should have really been there. Because of the increasing corona cases and safety issues, I was unable to travel for this outstanding function of the JK Paper and Times of India's Author Award. As you know, it is spelled AUTHER, because it's the first Women Authors Award instituted in India. And I was one of the jury members. I was chairing the jury, and what a journey it had been. It was a fantastic experience. I have to first congratulate JK Paper and Times of India to have come up with this concept and idea of promoting the women authors writing in English in India. India has always produced great women authors right from the age-old days, right from the Vedic literature. We have got women authors all throughout, but somehow in the modern era, it is now the women authors are coming of age, in the sense that they are producing outstanding literature, not just in the literary sense, but also in the bestseller lists and as commercial fiction. And they have gone into all kind of all the genre, and it is very fascinating to see this, the kind of voices they bring in, the kind of perception they have brought in. All the books that came to me were fantastic reading.
There it is, a very special message from Anand, the man behind the Bahubali series. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for our next category of non-fiction, we are proud to say that we have on board Kishwar Desai as jury chair, Hindol Sen Gupta and Rakshanda Jalil as the jury members. Now, Ms. Kishwar Desai is a well-known author, columnist, and a playwright. She has worked with major TV networks and is the chair of the Arts and Cultural Heritage Trust, which set up the world's first and only partition museum. We also have on board Mr. Hindol Sen Gupta. He's a historian and popular columnist. In 2019, his book, The Man Who Saved India, won the prize for Best Work of Non-Fiction at the Valley of Words Literary Festival in India. We also have with us on board Miss Rakshanda Jalil. She is a well-known writer, critic, and literary historian. Some of her most acclaimed books are Invisible City, The Hidden Monuments of India, A Winter's Night, and Other Stories and Lies Half Told that she has translated. It is truly my pleasure to welcome to the stage Hindol and Rakshanda, please. A very warm welcome to both of you. I'd request Mr. Biswas and Mr. Bindra to please felicitate our esteemed jury members. So we'd love for a mic to be brought to stage, because I'm not letting you go until you tell us how it was, this experience of going through so many entries. You know, how was the entire experience? I'll just wait for a mic. I would offer you mine, but let's just stay safe. If you would like to speak from the podium also, you're welcome. Ma'am, we'd love to hear from you, your experience.
Good evening. As a woman, as a writer, I'm very pleased that JK Paper and Times of India has made this space. Awards and recognitions and platforms are always welcome. As a member of the jury, and I think Hindol will bear me out, and Kishwar and I, when we all spoke, one thing that struck each one of us in the jury was the sheer variety of voices, the sheer range of topics, of concerns, of genres. And it seems to me that look at the when the long list is read out, and when you look at even the short list, you will be struck by the kind of people writing. You have academics, you have scholars, you have cultural historians, you have activists, you have food historians. So the range is enormous. But my one takeaway, if I may offer that to this audience, was that it is nothing is beyond the pale. It has been a long journey, you know, from what was considered women's only subjects. So when women started writing, they were supposed to write about the angan, the courtyard, the women's only kind of things that would be of interest to women. And today, as we stand here and we announce the long list, I think it's not just the winners that we are celebrating. To my mind, it seems to me that we are actually celebrating that journey and each of those milestones that has made it so significant. Thank you.
That's absolutely lovely. We'd love to hear from you as well.
Thank you. It was absolutely a delight to be part of this jury. One thing which is very clear, and which was very clear, I must share with this audience, is that in a country where no one can agree on anything with anyone else these days, I have to say the non-fiction jury at least agreed unanimously on our short list, on our long list, and of course our eventual winner. And I think that is something certainly to celebrate. I think apart from the wonderful books that we got to read, and I absolutely echo what Rakshananjali was saying, the sheer variety, the sheer range, the sheer topics, the sheer subjects, and as a writer, I have to say this idea that books are somehow dying is really extremely overrated. I have never had more people buying my books than I have today. So I certainly don't think it's an industry that's dying in any shape or form. I was very privileged also, the work that I do in my profession, I run an almost all-women team, and I have learnt a lot from, I'm also Bengali, so it is the experience of all Bengali men that they must learn from women in their lives. You know, you ask any Bengali man, ladies and gentlemen, they will
Cheers
tell
to
you
that.
the women are the dominant forces in their life. But it's been a real pleasure and a real honor to be part of this jury along with Rakshana ji and Kishwar, and it's been a fascinating journey. Thank you, JK. Thank you, JK Paper. Thank you, Times of India, for this wonderful occasion.
And thank you so much for being a part of the jury. Thank you so much once again. Lovely to hear from you. Kishwar unfortunately couldn't make it. Thank you once again. I'd now like to introduce the jury members for the best debut category. Our jury chair Kulpreet Yadav, and of course our jury members Ratna Joshi and Devapriya Roy. Now, Kulpreet Yadav is a very popular name in the fiction thriller genre. He's the author of 9 books, including The Girl Who Loved a Pirate and The Girl Who Loved a Spy. Could it be the same girl? Can fall in love with multiple men. But okay, that's a story for another day. We also have Miss Ratna Joshi. She has several years of experience in the publishing industry, having worked as head of marketing in PanMac, Macmillan, and Penguin India. She manages book publicity for authors directly. Miss Devapriya Roy is a popular author best known for her books Friends from College, Indra, and the Heat and Dust Project. She is also an avid animal lover. Unfortunately, Miss Roy had some medical issues, so she could not join us, and we wish her a speedy recovery. However, I am happy to say that we have with us Mr. Kulpreet Yadav and Miss Ratna Joshi here, so please do join us on stage. A warm welcome to both of you. I hope it was fine, the joke I cracked. Lovely to have you on board with us as jury members. We'd request let's have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ashok and Partha, for doing the honors. And I think it's, yes? Okay. So we just get a mic. Sir, would you please remain on stage, sir? You have a longer role to play. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's really a pleasure for us to be here. And we had a wonderful time judging these books in the debut fiction award category. We have 3 of us, as you've already gathered. Devapriya unfortunately could not make it. We're missing her. But the 3 of us had set up a WhatsApp group, using technology. And we were sending the ideas back and forth as we were reading, the strengths of the stories, the uniqueness of the plot, the elements, the literary devices, etc. And I must say that though we were reading debut fiction authors, but these books came across as, bundles of surprises for us, because many of these books we thought were written by accomplished writers, wonderful voices. We really had a great time. It was a wonderful opportunity. I would like to also say that thanks to Times of India and to JK Paper for not just having instituted this wonderful award, but having invited us to judge the books in this debut fiction award category. Ratna, would you like to add something?
So it's been a terrific journey. As Kulpreet mentioned, right from beginning we were interacting with each other, talking about these books. There were some real surprise packages there. We thought they were just not coming out from debutantes. There were some really experienced people out there writing phenomenal books, I think. The journey throughout in terms of long listing to shortlisting and then the winner, I think we had a terrific time together, and the decisions were sort of very smooth to take. It was a fantastic journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just a small thing that I wanted to correct. I didn't head Pan Macmillan Marketing. It was I did head Pan Macmillan Marketing, not Penguin. I did work for Penguin.
Oh, my apologies.
Fine. It's important to say.
And I hope that WhatsApp group stays alive, It doesn't have to go anywhere now that the judging is over. Lovely to have you on board. Thank you so much. Sir, would you want me to hold that? You've had the additional job of... Thank you so much to Kulpreet and Ratna. Thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, we now like to introduce jury members for Best Author Children, and our jury chair, Archana Garodia Gupta, and jury members Janki Sabesh and Dr. Shailja Sen. Well, Archana Garodia Gupta is the co-author of the best-selling 2-volume A History of India for Children in the year 2018. And she also writes regular columns on retail, women's issues, and history for newspapers and magazines. Dr. Shailja Sen, she's a therapist, a writer, and a co-founder of Children First and Institute of Child and Adolescent Mental Health. She's the author of critically acclaimed books, All You Need Is Love, The Art of Mindful Parenting, and I think my favorite, Imagine No Child Left Invisible. Ms. Janki Sabesh, she's a popular media professional, actor, model, storyteller, author of children's books, theatre, and voiceover artist. She has also played several prominent and memorable roles in Tamil and Telugu movies. So I request Ms. Gupta and Ms. Sabesh to please join us. Unfortunately, Dr. Sen could not join us this evening, but it's our pleasure to welcome the two lovely ladies to the stage. So Mr. Partha and Mr. Biswas to do the honors of felicitating our jury members, ladies and gentlemen. Ms. Gupta and Ms. Sabesh here with us. Welcome, ladies. We would, of course, love to hear from the two of you, so I'd request our young lady with the mic to please join us. Thank you.
Yeah, I must commend Times of India and JK Paper for this initiative. I think this is the second award, so I hope it'll be a feature for the long run, or maybe not, as Mr. Wangchuk said, we may reach equality long before the period. I think when you look at what Times of India has done, if you see the people who are heading the various sections in Times of India, there are a lot of women. So I think they're definitely putting their money where their mouth is in terms of women empowerment, and Vinita ji is a shining example of that. Regarding the books, I must say this is a good time to be young in India. When we were growing up, we had nowhere near this selection and this variety of books. I think if all of you look back to what you read when you were 10 and 11, we were basically reading books written in England or in the US. We were not reading books which are written in India. And I must say that these books are very true to our country. It was a wonderful experience because I'm not exposed to this children's writing. For me, it was a great exposure to read these books written about India. And I would even recommend that people look at the long list, and even all the adults here, please do read the books. They are wonderful books, and we had a very hard time selecting. But again, let me congratulate JK and Times of India, and thank my fellow jury members for all the hard work we put in. Let me pass the mic on to Janki.
Thank you so much, JK Paper and Times of India, for even thinking of something like this. I know how hard it is to be an author, and also how hard it is to be a storyteller. But with all these books, I had such a blast, because every book was speaking to me, and every book had freshness, every book was authentic, and it had the child in the middle of it all. So it was written for the child who wanted to read and reread and maybe reread. So thank you so much. And yes, we did have a wonderful time discussing, and I think Kalpana is here and she will vouch for the kind of, how quickly we came to that, or maybe not. We had, our own stories to tell. So there were many stories exchanged while we were discussing who should be getting the award. I think a big round of applause to every single nomination that came into the children's category, and the long list and the short list, and congratulations to the winner. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Gupta, Mr. Besh. Thank you so much for being on board with us. It truly is our privilege to have you on board with us. And of course, thank you, Mr. Bindra, Mr. Biswas. Thank you so much, sirs, for doing the honors. Okay. Is it time already? Yes, it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the big moment, the big reveal of all the winners of the second edition of our awards, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly my privilege to welcome back to the stage our chief guest, Mrs. Sonam Wangchuk, to do the honors and give away the awards. I'd also like to welcome back to the stage Ms. Sudha Natarajan and Mr. Singhania. The one thing with live events was you should wear a Fitbit, because you're constantly going up and down, moving around. It definitely adds the steps. I've always noticed. Welcome back, sir. Welcome back, ma'am. So, this is it. Get set, go, I think. So, our first category, ladies and gentlemen, is Best Author Fiction. Could we please have the nominations? Let's have a look.
The nominations for the Best Author Fiction are Janvi Barua for her book Undertow. In the category of Fiction Historical, Janvi gives voice to a subaltern culture through her novel One Hidden in the Banks of the Brahmaputra. Undertow is a saga of family, loss and love, and is an attempt to reclaim a world which is otherwise dominated by mainlanders. Madhavi S. Mahadevan for her book Bride of the Forest, the untold story of Yayati's daughter. Bride of the Forest is the story of a girl who is surprisingly radical in her ultimate rejection of patriarchy. Ruth Vanita for her book Memory of Light. Ruth's book Memory of Light weaves an exquisite web of conversations, songs, reminiscence around a life-changing love.
Okay, so could we have the winner card, please? The suspense as she walks. Our first award this evening, ladies and gentlemen, the winner is...
So the winner here is Janvi Barua for Undertow.
Janvi Barua, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it, but we do have Manjusha Barua here with us. Please join us on stage to receive the award, the trophy on her behalf. And of course, a bit of good news. We have a special message from Janvi herself. So we'll have a listen right after this. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The winner of our first award tonight is Janvi Barua. I think perfect timing to hear the message from Janvi. Can we have a look, please?
I would like to begin by extending my warmest thanks to the Author Award, which is jointly instituted by the Times of India and JK Papers. I was honored to be part of the very distinguished long list and the short list, and I'm absolutely delighted, humbled and overwhelmed to be the winner of this year's Best Fiction category. It's a special award, the Author Award. It gives, shines a light on the women writing in the country today, and I'm more than happy to be part of this solidarity of women writers. I hope this award goes from strength to strength. I hope many young writers many established writers, many women joined its distinguished community. I apologize to the organizers, to Times of India, to JK Papers for not being able to be there in person. Had it not been for the current COVID situation, I would have been delighted, honored to have been there. But from far away, please allow me to extend my deepest appreciation and thanks and very best wishes for the future of the award. Thank you so much.
Let's have a big round of applause. Janvi Barua, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much to Manjusha for collecting the award on her behalf. So surprise, surprise, we also have a runners-up in this category. So could we have the winner card for that, please? Thank you.
So this is the runner-up award.
Yes, yes, sir.
To Madhavi S. Mahadevan for the book Bride of the Forest, which is the untold story of Yati's daughter. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it from Madhavi S. Mahadevan. Welcome, Madhavi. Congratulations, and of course, looking forward to hearing from you. Come on, guys, let's make some more noise.
Yes.
Let's cheer each other on. A magical evening.
Wonderful.
Putting the spotlight on some amazing authors here. Ladies and gentlemen, the second edition of JK Paper presents Author Awards in association with, of course, the Times of India. Heartiest congratulations to you. Can this be mine?
Thank you so much. I am flummoxed. I've never been a runner-up at anything in my life. And it's beautiful to stand here and to receive this award. Very special because it is exclusively for women. And it celebrates women's voices and perspectives. I thank JK Papers and Times of India for this unique honor. I have to thank a few more people, and it starts with my wonderful agent, Shiny Anthony, who saw merit in my work and showed it to my publisher, Speaking Tiger. Renuka, Ravi, and everyone at Speaking Tiger, thank you for the confidence that you showed in Bride of the Forest. And despite all the problems of COVID, you brought out the book on time. I guess what I'm trying to say is that though authors live in silos and create these wonderful worlds with words, images, and ideas, when the book is done and it comes out into the real world, we need friends, we need allies, and we need people who care, because they are the ones who take us to the readers. And here, I think this validation is very, very special. And I hope that with this, Bride of the Forest too will, as it says, create lasting impressions. Thank you.
Yes, of course it will. Very well said. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a big round of applause for Madhavi. Congratulations once again. It's all yours. It's going to fill up the car. Congratulations once again. And with that, we move on to our second category, which is Best Author for Non-Fiction. Let's have a look at the nominees.
The nominations for the Best Author Non-Fiction: Shanta Gokhale for her book Shivaji Part, Dadar 22, history, places, people. A journalist, cultural critic and author, Shanta Gokhale's book delves into the history and culture of Shivaji Park while building a portrait of what is one of Mumbai's earliest planned neighborhoods and an underrated Art Deco district. Shaila Sri Shankar for her book Turmeric Nation, which is an ambitious and insightful project which captures series of fascinating essays delving into geography, history, myth, sociology, film, literature and personal experience. Shaila Sri Shankar traces the myriad patterns that have formed Indian food cultures, taste preferences and cooking traditions. Vasanthi for her book The Lone Empress, a portrait of Jayalalitha. The book candidly chronicles Jayalalitha's tumultuous political life, examining her battle with intra-party rivalry to become the first elected woman Chief Minister of India, the long-lasting hostility with her rivals, her pursuit of support from the centre for political survival, and her discomfort with criticism and dissent.
Okay, there it is. We had a look at the nominees. Could we have the winner card, please? Let's find out who is the winner. Best Author Non-Fiction.
Check it out. Yeah. All right, so we have the winner for the non-fiction category. It is Shaila Sri Shankar for the Turmeric Nation. Congratulations.
Woo! Could we have Shaila Sri Shankar please join us on stage? Heartiest congratulations to you. That book looks good enough to eat.
Yes, it looks
and
very
healthy too.
innovative. And I love the cover art.
I know, absolutely. Welcome and heartiest congratulations to you, ladies and gentlemen. We have with us Ms. Shaila Sri Shankar, the winner of Best Author Non-Fiction. Would you be okay saying a few words? Yes. Oh, I'm the official holder for this, even if it's for just 10 seconds.
Yeah, sorry, can I just leave this here?
Can I hold it?
Yeah, you can. Sorry, thank you. I actually have a 90-year-old mother-in-law, so I really can't take off my mask. But you've seen my photograph, so I mean, just imagine that's me. Thank you very much, and thank you very much to JK Papers and to Times of India for instituting this award. I mean, I'm all for equality, and I'm actually for anonymity, because I think if we just had anonymous authors, we wouldn't have this problem, you know. So, but thank you. And I'd just like to say a few more thank yous. You know, books actually begin as little ideas, and this book was actually an experiment, because I'm not a food historian, I'm not a food writer, I'm an academic. But I thought I wanted to write something where I could just let my mind wander. And I must say, Prasanna Rajan of Open Magazine was open enough to publish these essays. And again, there was another coincidence, because my agent, Meeta Kapoor, got in touch with me. I didn't know her, but she read these essays and she got in touch with me and said, why don't you write a food book? And then she found Ravi Singh, and who's a fantastic publisher and editor, and his team is wonderful, Renuka and Aruna Ghosh, who did the copy editing. And to their marketing team, Tanu, wonderful team. And Siahi, you know, was my Meeta's agency. You know, they and Speaking Tiger did a lot of work in promoting the book, because I think, you know, a lot of people write books, but they sort of disappear into the ether. And it's the sort of the you know, talking about it, publicizing it, I think that has become a huge deal these days, because there's so many books coming out. And I'm so glad that there's so many readers. And I'm so glad, one good thing about COVID is that it made everybody sit at home. And as you said, people actually started reading books and, and sitting back and actually reflecting on these books. And I think we are missing all that with all this technology. And it's wonderful to have this kind of an award and, this sort of a way of kickstarting these conversations. And I must thank three more people actually. One, my husband, who's very stoic, because I had to bring in my personal experiences, and he hates being written about. And so he would open magazine and say, "Thank God you didn't write about me this time," because I would just write all the personal details in these essays. So thank you very much, Bharat, who's there. And my mother and my dear friend Meenakshi were my two first readers, because I wanted to actually appeal to a larger audience and not to an academic audience. And academics write really badly because they just write in jargon. And so this was, again, an experiment where I wanted to actually write in language that everybody could understand. So anyway, so thank you very much. And sorry for taking so long.
Oh my God, it was a pleasure listening to you. Thank you so much and congratulations. That's gone there. No worries, we'll make sure it reaches you. And I know your husband likes the attention deep down inside, believe me. They all do, I think. Congratulations once again. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a special jury recommendation award in this category, and that goes to Sai Paranchpe. We have a short AV. Can we have a look at it?
I'm so glad that the Times of India and JK Papers have given this award to my book, A Patchwork Quilt. Now, this quilt talks about the forays that I have had in the field of broadcasting and television, theatre, both children's and adults, and of course cinema, and primarily the writing for all the above media. I have done a lot of writing. Basically, I'm a writer. So it has really been great getting this award. Now, at the cost of sounding a little immodest, may I say that my work, basically my films, my plays and teleserials have been written for audiences and have got a tremendous response from them. They have really been joyously received, and it is, to any creative person, this is honestly fantastic to get this kind of reception. Now, if my book, My Patchwork Quilt, can bring on a smile on the face of the reader, I can say that my mission has truly been rewarded. Thank you.
Let's have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So Sai Paranchpe, she has been awarded the Special Jury Recommendation Award in this category. With that, let's move on to our third category, which is Best Debut Author. Let's have a look at the nominees.
The nominations for the Best Author Debut are Lavanya Lakshmi Narayan for her book Analog, Virtual and Other Simulations of Your Future. Lavanya's extraordinary debut sinks its teeth into a dystopian future, offering a glimpse into a world we may be dangerously close to inheriting. Deepa Anappara for her book Gin Patrol on the Purple Line. Deepa's book plunges readers deep into a neighborhood to trace the unfolding of a tragedy through the eyes of a child as he has his first perilous collision with an unjust and complicated wider world. Megha Majumdar for her book A Burning. A Burning is an electrifying debut novel about three unforgettable characters who seek to rise to the middle class, to political power, to fame in the movies, and find their lives entangled in the wake of a catastrophe in contemporary India.
Could we have the winner card, please? Young ladies, you're really building up the suspense. Walk with I think it's deliberate. winners.
So we have two winners here for the Best Author Debut Award. It is Lavanya Lakshminarayan for the book Analog Virtual, and it is Deepa Annapara for Gin Patrol of the Purple Line.
Ladies and gentlemen,
congratulations.
let's hear it for Lavanya and Deepa. And Lavanya couldn't make it. Thank you, Kanishk, for joining us here from the Writer's Side Literary. Thank you for being here and accepting the trophy on her behalf. We also have a message from Lavanya, so we'll have a listen right after this. So joint winners, ladies and gentlemen, in the Best Debut Author category. Lavanya couldn't come, but we have a message, so let's have a listen.
2020 was a challenging year for everyone in India and around the world. It was also a rough year to release a debut book in, and it is an overwhelming feeling to win the Author Award for Best Debut tonight. My only regret is that owing to the pandemic and elderly dependents at home, I'm unable to be at the ceremony to accept this award in person. I'd like to thank the esteemed members of the jury, Mr. Kulpreet Yadav, Ms. Devapriya Roy, and Ms. Ratna Joshi, for choosing to recognize my work. I am deeply honored that my vision of near future India has resonated with you. Ms. Vinita Nangia and the entire team at the Times of India, everyone at JK Paper, and all those working behind the scenes, thank you for creating a platform to amplify the voices of women writers from all over India. My congratulations to the other women finalists and to all the brilliant women in this room for persevering in the face of our distorted reality to get to where you are today. My book, Analog Virtual and Other Simulations of Your Future, is a work of speculative fiction, and this award is an encouraging sign for all women who are writing in this space. Speculative fiction can be a powerful metaphor to mirror reality, critique social hierarchies, envision alternate futures, and inspire hope. This book of mine wouldn't be here without the dedicated efforts of Palomi Chatterjee, Sabani Prem Kumar, and everyone at Hachette India, and my agent Kanishka Gupta. To my parents, family, and loved ones, the writing community, and all my readers, thank you for believing in my work. Thank you all once again. Stay safe and well, and have a wonderful evening.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen, a special message from Lavanya on bagging the Best Debut Author. She's a joint winner. Along with her, winning this award is Deepa Annapara. She was unable to join us today. It's my privilege to welcome Smith Zaveri from Penguin Random House, India, to please come and receive the trophy. Thank you so much. Let's have a big round of applause for both Lavanya and Deepa, ladies and gentlemen, joint winners of our Best Debut Author category. Thank you. Okay, there it is. Time flies. We've reached our fourth category, which is Best Children's Author. Could we have a look at the nominees?
The nominations for Best Author Children are Megha Gupta for her book Unearthed, an environmental history of independent India. From the Green Revolution to the National Action Plan on Climate Change, Megha's book chronicles the country's historical movements and significant green missions since 1947. Russell Ahuja for her book Unfair. Her book is a wonderful fictional tale of determination and finding comfort and assurance in friendships. Nandini Sengupta for her book The Blue Horse and Other Amazing Animals from Indian History. Nandini is journalist and a writer. Her book is full of daring exploits, epic romances, and heart-wrenching moments of these animal underdogs so often overlooked by Indian history.
It's so lovely for our kids to have all these choices. But let's find out who is the winner. I think the young ladies also get immersed in the the nominations. Let's find out. The winner is
Best Author in the Children's Award, Rasil Ahuja for Unfair. Congratulations.
Rasil Ahuja it is, ladies and gentlemen. Winning this award is totally fair and very well deserved. Welcome and congratulations. You look lovely.
Congratulations.
Let's put those hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Make them walk a bit. Big round of applause to Best Children's Author Rasil Ahuja for her book Unfair. Allow me to help you with that, and we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you all. I'm really, really deeply honored that you have appreciated this work of fiction for children. The children of today are going to be all of the readers of all your other categories very much in the future. So the more we encourage them today, the more readers we'll have in the future. I know I stand amongst great company today, and I thank you for, it must have been a really difficult job, because as someone who knows firsthand what it means to be on a jury, it's really tough to read through so many books and find a winner and have to make that type of judgment, but I appreciate that. Thank you. And I also want to just say thanks to Penguin and all the great, great people at Penguin who've just, who've been wonderful to work with. Thank you.
It's unfair how lovely you are. And how lovely you look. Congratulations once again, ladies and gentlemen. We give you Rasil Ahuja. Thank you. Congratulations. Okay, so with that, we move on to our next category. And this is a category where the public did the judging. So the category was open for readers to give their votes for the authors that they liked best. So we had stiff competition here. So let's have a look at the audio visual.
Ahalya by Koral Dasgupta, A Killer Among Us by Ushashi Sen Basu, Bride of the Forest by Madhavi S. Mahadevan, Jaipur Journals by Namita Gokhale, Kitty Party Murder by Kiran Mandral, Memory of Light by Ruth Vanita, Mohini by Anuja Chandramouli, My Mother's Lover by Sumana Roy, Ragam Tanam Pallavi by Kalpana Swaminathan, Shrilaji by Shobha De, Tabu by Nirmala Govindarajan, The Swap by Shuma Raha, Undertow by Janvi Barua, When Love Came Calling by Preeti Shenoy.
A lot of wonderful reads in the running. Let's find out who has bagged this award.
So we have, two here, right? So we have two Popular Choice Awards. Preeti Shenoy for When Love Came Calling, and the other one is for Anuja Chandramouli, Mohini, the Enchantress. Congratulations both.
Congratulations to Anuja Chandramouli and Preeti Shenoy. Could we have you on stage? Anuja, if you could join us.
Wonderful.
And right after that, Preeti, of course, please. Some lovely, happy moments, putting the spotlight on some brilliant writers. Welcome and heartiest congratulations. Let's make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. All's fair in love and writing. And we have our authors here tonight bagging these awards. And of course, oh, the mic's with me. I was too busy seeing that shouldn't fall down. Thank you.
I didn't prepare a speech because I didn't want to jinx it, I guess. So in case I forget anybody's name or mispronounce it, I apologize. Right now I don't remember my own name, I think. So first of all, I would like to thank Mr. Singhania of JK Papers for this lovely, lovely opportunity. His wife, Mrs. Mamta, for egging him on. I would like to thank the Times of India group for initiating, for this initiative again. Sudha ma'am, Vinita ma'am, our chief guest, Mr. Wangchuk, I hope I pronounced your name right. I think writers are very, very lonely people, slightly messed up people. We work in solitude. It feels like we are working in a void and life sucks us back out after we are done with the book. And we worry that the words disappear, the stories, the characters we've created, we've loved, we've lived with. We worry that these characters vanish into the void forever. So it's so lovely to know that there are people who read our books, our stories, and who appreciate our effort. I always say that art is its own validation, but I will take all the awards and encouragement I can get. Thank you very much. And yes, we would also, I'm really, really grateful for this. Mohini is my 11th book. It took me 10 books to win an award, and I'm very, very grateful. I would like to thank my publishers, Rupa. Thanks ever so much. Mr. Kapish Mehra and his team, thanks so much. This is our win, not just mine. I would like to congratulate my fellow nominees. They are all legends. Such an honor to be in the same category as them. Preeti Shenoy is crazily impressive. I'm a huge, huge fan. I can't believe we get to share this. So thank you. And before I forget, my kids will get mad if I forget them. I want to thank my kids. My husband, he's very shy. He'll be like, why did you mention me? But it's very hard to live with a writer who's actually in another world, though physically present. So thank you to them. In case I've forgotten anyone, I apologize. Thanks so much for this.
Thank you and congratulations. And I have to say that your characters do not get lost. In fact, what they do is create lasting impressions on all of us, everyone who reads the stories. Thank you. Congratulations. Your check has, well, it'll reach you. And now could we have Preeti Shenoy join us on stage to come and collect her award. Welcome and congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. I'm really happy to be here, and this is my 13th book. So they say, 13, unlucky for some, but I guess lucky for me. So I noticed something very interesting. A few years ago, India Today had done an article on me, and they said the only woman in the best-selling league. Okay, there were lots of gentlemen out there, and I was the only woman there. And after that, everyone began asking me, what is it? What is the secret of your success? How come you're the only woman in the best-selling league? Okay, I began thinking about it because honestly, I had not even thought of my gender when I was writing. I just write a book, whether it's a male or a woman. I am not conscious of my gender. I'm not a woman writing a book. I am just someone getting into the heads of the character, writing the book. So I began thinking about it, and I noticed one interesting thing, which I don't know how many of you have noticed this. So when women talk about their work, they're a bit apologetic. Okay, suppose they want to say that their book has done exceedingly well. They say at the risk of sounding immodest. Okay, why is this word modesty associated only with women? Okay, when a guy talks about his work, oh, my book got made into a movie, I did this, I did that. Everyone applauds him. But when a woman talks about her work, she is promotion alert, at the risk of sounding immodest. I must say this, I think I have to promote my book. No. Women who are present here, please stop being apologetic for your success. Own your success, own your books. Because if you don't own your books, if you don't give yourself a pat on the back, trust me, nobody will. So that's one thing that I want to say. And the other thing is that, I get asked this many a time in LitFest, and usually it's an audience question, or I get asked by a journalist, how do you manage your family and your writing? Every time, it's only a woman author who is asked this. The guys are never asked this. So it's almost a given that women, you have to manage your, everything, your family or this thing. So, that's one question. So I always, whenever someone asks me this question, I always say, will you ask a male author the same thing? So the inequality in these two examples that I have given is right there in front of us. Hence, I'm really happy that this has been addressed. There is a need for such an award as a, Women Author Award. There's such a need. Because there was a huge hue and cry. Some of my male friend authors, they said, why is there a need for such an award? Because after all, men or women, they write, books, which is true. But I'm really happy that this platform gives recognition to so many women simply because we need such platforms. Our voices need to be heard. We need to be proud to talk about our work. And about my book, it's about, two young people. It was very difficult to get into their heads because it's about a 20-year-old boy and a 19-year-old girl. And I must say my daughter is the cover designer for this book, so it's extra special. My son, who's present in the audience, was the first reader, so extremely special. So thank you so much, guys, and it's great to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That was absolutely wonderful, powerful, lively. We love it, everything that you are. Thank you and congratulations. And thank you to both Anuja and Preeti for being here with us. Thank you. Congratulations once again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Lifetime Achievement Award. So Romila Thapar is Professor Emerita of History at the Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. She has been General President of the Indian History Congress 1983 and is a Fellow of the British Academy and the American Philosophical Society. Yes, I got that right. She is the author of major studies of early Indian history. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Thapar holds honorary degrees from Calcutta, Oxford, and Chicago universities. She was awarded the Cluj Prize in the year 2008, a prize that honors achievements in disciplines not covered by the Nobel Prize. I'd like to invite back to the stage Vinita Dauranangya to present this award along with our other dignitaries who are on stage. Welcome back. So I'd love for Romila's message to be played, and right after that we will invite a member of her family who's here with us to receive the award on her behalf. So let's have a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, a message from Romila Thapar.
It was such a pleasant surprise when I heard that the Times of India was giving me a Lifetime Achievement Award. I would therefore like to convey my deeply felt thanks for this award. May I express my sincere apologies for not being present at the award-giving ceremony. This is only because we live in COVID times, and since I am now in my 90th year, I have been more or less forbidden to venture out to public places. The pandemic has changed our lives in many ways, and one of these is that we are imprisoned in the space that it has created. I would like to say that I am enjoying this renewed association with the Times of India. The paper first became part of our family life, so to speak, in the early 1940s, when I was still a teenager. My brother, Ramesh Thapar, fresh out of college, joined the paper. And journalism, as we all know, as a career for a bright young man, was regarded with a certain hesitation in those days. Nevertheless, it did mean that the family newspaper during this period was the Times of India, which even I read every day. I'm delighted that these awards have been instituted particularly to celebrate women who write in various ways about the imminent issues of our times. Of the present collection, I have read only one, has a very fine book on the environment for children, and I hope soon to be able to read all the rest. The celebration of the work of women is much overdue. We have to contend with those in our society that would deny a voice to women, or more often only allow women to speak, as it were, sotto voce, in a hardly audible whisper. To remove the servitude of women is a long and arduous process, but it is both necessary and will be inevitable. Those demanding this change have to be supported. It therefore gives me particular pleasure to be the successor in this award to the previous awardee, Nayanthara Sehgal. I have admired her for being what I like to call an autonomous woman and a notable defender of the freedom of expression. The media in India, whether social or print or visual, is in some ways experiencing these days something of a kind of crisis of confidence. Its contents and its reliability have been under much discussion recently. Transparency and openness will help it to remain accessible to all and in fairness to all. It has a vital role in helping to protect and propagate those values that uphold the making of a true democracy, where, among other things, the rights of men and women are equal, not just as a formality, but in reality. This is not an easy matter. It requires courage and a humane thoughtfulness. This group of awards felicitating Indian women is an indication of such a step being taken on the part of the Times of India. I wish it, therefore, all success.
Ladies and gentlemen, the powerful voice, the person that is Romila Thapar. My privilege to invite her family members Manjeet Singh and maybe Caroline D'Souza here to receive the award on her behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, a privilege and honor to bestow the Lifetime Achievement Award on Romila Thapar. I think we can do better than that. All the backbenchers. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The Lifetime Achievement Award given to Romila Thapar. Thank you and congratulations. Thank you so much and congratulations. And of course, the night's still young, so could we have all our winners up on stage, our awardees, for a group photograph? We'd love it if the jury members could also join us. We'll keep some social distancing, don't worry. Could we have you on stage for a group photograph? Our winners, our esteemed members of the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been such a special night. This is the second edition of JK Paper Presents Author Awards in association with the Times of India. And it's only going to get bigger, better with every succeeding year. Ma'am, we'd love to have you back on stage. Our jury members, our winners here tonight. It'd be great if you got your trophies though. Yeah, we would love to have those trophies glistening in the picture. If you want, you could put your mask, whatever makes you feel comfortable. I mean, either which way, it's a mixed group. So we'll have to plan this more than usual. We'll keep it spread out a bit so that we do follow the norms. It'd be great if we could play that song again. We have our awardees on stage. We have the support system that's putting a spotlight on these amazing voices. Could we have the same song again? It'd be great. You know, I have the mic in my hand, but the power of your writing, each and every one of you, that's what does it all, says it all. It's amazing. Can we please have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for all our winners, our dignitaries, and of course our esteemed jury members. We do a little jig? Possible? Is it possible to do a little jig and end this night on a high? Yes? Okay guys, we started with this, let's end with this. Let's just keep that applause coming.
Filled with catastrophe, but she knows she can fly away.
So all of you are on fire. And
she got both feet
maybe we could just do this, everyone.
and she's burning it down.
Okay, big round of applause. Our winners, our jury members, our dignitaries. Thank you all. Thank you all. I think our photographer's done his job. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you. You can take your seats. Thank you, sirs. Thank you so much, Mr. Wangchuk, for being here, for gracing us with your presence. Thank you, sir. To present the vote of thanks, it's my privilege to welcome Mr. A.S. Mehta, President of JK Paper, on stage. Welcome, sir.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for my bad throat. It's a truly very inspiring evening. And thank you, all of you, the wonderful audience. In fact, when we were thinking about this, as rightly said, we were very apprehensive whether we will have this kind of a gathering today in view of the pandemic. There were never been a second thought or doubt about the quality of storytelling by all the ladies or the women storytellers. It was only question of how do we recognize and how do we reward them. That was the only question. And in fact, this is what we thought. Can we have a very small contribution in initiating this initiative where we truly recognize and reward the women authors. At this point of time, we thank you, Mr. Sonam Wangchuk, for being with us. And in fact, you are the truly hero. I mean, we still recall the wonderful, the movie Three Idiots. This year, the response has been very good. So thank you all the writers, because the 1,000+ entries was a truly encouragement for all of us. All the TI team, Sudhaji, Vinitaji, and each one of the Times of India team, as well as the JK Paper team, thank you very much for doing wonderful the processes and everything. Last not the least, the congratulations to all the women writers or the writers, those who have been shortlisted or not shortlisted. Their stories and their words have been wonderful, and they will always be inspiring and inspired to excel all of us in time to come. We are at JK Paper very proud to be part of your writing journey, because the words were in your mind. Only the paper we have provided so that you can bring all those your words on piece of paper, and will continue to bring the best and best quality of paper so that you can write and you can transfer your ideas on a piece of paper. The truly our tagline, creating lasting impression, is the true our tagline, so that you bring and you create the lasting impression on the minds of all the readers, those who read your books. And once again, thank you all the wonderful audience. Thank you very much, and we hope that we meet next year in a much larger audience and with renewed a response and a bigger response. Thank you, and please join us for the dinner. Thank you.
You know, I have to say, with all the Kindle reading and we read on our devices, nothing can replace those dog ears, right? Nothing can. So my favorites. So ladies and gentlemen, this was it, the second edition of JK Paper Presents Author Awards in association with the Times of India. I have to also thank our lovely audience for being here and supporting our voices on stage. So thank you so much for that. Remember, when all of you soar, we soar. So thank you so much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, having said that everyone in the room here gives us so much food for thought, it's now time for us to give you actual food. Right? So dinner and drinks, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Thank you, good night, and of course, stay safe. Thank you.